that the judge does not know the law.
You are wrong that let them show me the constitution. Show me where it says you can break my right to anything like this.
Justice Omotosho then appealed to him to calm down, but he refused. He was forced to order that he be taken out of the courtroom.
I'm warning you, don't touch me. I'm warning you, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I said, don't touch me.
The prosecution subsequently moved an application for the court to invoke Section 266 of the ACGA, which allows for judgment in the absence of the defendants. This was granted by the court.
2661A. So I'll be urging your lordship to invoke that section.
It is straight law that if a defendant misbehaves or acts unruly in the courtroom, his trial can be done in his absence.
The court moved to deliver its judgment. Justice Omotosho classified Nnamdi Kanu as an international terrorist. This is due to his intention to bomb the British High Commission, the American Embassy, and to kill the then British High Commissioner, Kathleen Leong. Under international law, the premises of an embassy or high commission cannot be invaded by a host country. Justice Omotosho found Kanu guilty on all 7 counts charged. The charges are committing an act of terrorism against the Federal Republic of Nigeria by making a broadcast threatening the people. He was also found guilty of carrying out threats against anyone who failed to obey a sit-at-home order in the southern eastern states of Nigeria, as well as belonging to a proscribed organization, IPOB. He was also found guilty of inciting the killing of security personnel and ordering the manufacturing of bombs and other explosives. Also, Mr. Kanu was found guilty of importing radio transmitters concealed in a container of household use items. In the judgment, the proscribed IPOB leader is barred from using any digital devices. Justice Omotosho ruled that he has portrayed violent tendencies which were displayed in courts and cannot be trusted not to commit the same offences again.
Of Agja. It's not a court of law. What you're doing is not law.
Please, please,
You don't know the law.
please, please.
Show me.
Please.
I said, show me where you have the right to waive my right to final address. Show me. It's what the Constitution says. Show me.
Well,
He added, if he must use any digital device, it must be under the monitoring of the NSA.
Another. We must not compromise the security of the country on the basis of those modern sentiments. So I congratulate Nigeria today for seeing the end of this, and let it be a warning to those who may think they are bigger than Nigeria. Nigeria is bigger than every one of us. The law is bigger than every one of us.
Well, I feel very bad. Not only me, I feel sad. My colleague is here. All of us, we feel very bad. It's a very bad day for judiciary. It's a very bad day for the criminal justice system in Nigeria. This is the first time in my entire life as a lawyer that I have seen a man being convicted for the mere words he uttered. Just like someone can say, don't be silly, and you say he committed an offense.
As Justice Omotosho had ordered that his former lawyers, now tall consultants, convey the outcome of the sentence to Mr. Kanu, these consultants are now saying that they will appeal the judgment at the Court of Appeal. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
Our thanks to Celestina. That report went out earlier, of course. As I said, this whole saga started yesterday. Malaki, do you have an inkling as to what Nnamdi Kanu meant at the beginning of that clip where he was, he was unruly? That's another aspect I will talk about. He was quite unruly, but he was speaking at the top of his voice, you cannot try me under an unknown law. Do you have an idea of what he meant by that or what that means?
Well, I think that Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, probably suffered two debilitating factors that had negative impact on his matter. The one is, I'm not too sure how much advice, legal expert advice, he was willing to take. Secondly, is whether he indeed believed that there is a difference, a whole world between being knowledgeable, educated, and being a legal expert.
Okay.
When we tout ourselves as learned gentlemen, I think Nigerians will begin to understand the import with what has just happened. And it is not sufficient to have a smattering knowledge, an overview of the law, and think that you have the expertise to drive it in a complex, sophisticated criminal justice system. So when you said you don't have the right to try me
under an unknown law.
Under an unknown law, I think what he was referencing and what he may have had is the express provision of Section 36, subsection 12. That is a law, that is a constitutional provision that provides that no Nigerian shall be tried for an offense or for an act that does not constitute an offense as at the time he is alleged to have committed that offense. And there's a locus classicus, a very old case, 1962, known as Fagbem, Akko and Fagbem, Akko and Fagbem. So you remember that the point is that save and until an act or a criminal behavior is provided for in a criminal law that criminalizes that action and provides punishment thereat, it's not an offense.
Okay.
So, but the problem and the challenge with respect to this is the offenses and the charges preferred against Nnamdi Kanu are squarely provided for under the Terrorism Prohibition Act 2011. The fact that the act was amended in 2022 does not detract from the fact that they constitute an offense under the previous offense. And the law is simple. It does not operate retrospectively. The law, having been amended, cannot operate retrospectively. In other words, you stand trial in relation to the law that was in existence when you are alleged to have committed that offense.
Okay. Oh.
So I imagine, this is my imagination, I'm not part of the legal team, that it probably, maybe in the course of discussion, the lawyers may have mentioned to him that the law has even changed and you now have the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, and you run with that and you persevere and insist before a trial court. Now you go and put that to test. If the same thing happened with his no case submission, and they traveled all the way, and the court said no, given the body of evidence that have been presented, and considering the prima facie case, prima facie, that is the case laid out before you temporarily, you cannot say you have no case to answer. You go defend this matter. And you see, I think that the tactical blunder, the strategic defeat that Kanu suffered in this whole matter was when he disengaged his lawyers. Some of whom are the best in this country.
He converted them to consultants.
Now, I do not know, frankly speaking, how to place that. Legal team, legal consultant. You see, we have a peculiar legal system in this country. You are both a solicitor and a barrister of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. We don't have that dichotomy of solicitors, consultants, and advocates. We are woven into one. So back to the point, when he disengaged these people, I'm talking of people like Kanu Agabi, SAN, Ipazo, SAN, I think Rukuru, Land, SAN, and a host of other lawyers. He lost the opportunity to be able to, in fact, let me tell you, even as a defense counsel, that it's easier to defend a crime than to prosecute a crime.
Okay.
You know why?
Okay.
The standard of proof expected in relation to criminal prosecution is beyond every reasonable doubt. So if I, on the defense team, is able to raise a gray
area, no matter how
any
small.
gray area, it will work in favor of the defense. When you are not able to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that the charges you have brought against a defendant is not just watertight but inescapable, that ambivalence, that gray area will be resolved in favor of the defense. So what we do really is to attack not just the credibility but the integrity of the evidence you have brought, even the character of the defense, of the prosecution, and their witnesses, and shake the table somewhat in a way that introduces that gray area. The court is bound. If it doesn't come to that conclusion, it will be resolved on appeal. And that is how you lay the foundation for grounds of appeal too, knowing that he ought to resolve these matters. Having lost that opportunity, in my view, he just held on to the ones that made sense to him. This is my take, because you have dragged me into a very uncomfortable where you hazard guess. We deal with facts. But this is a historical case that is now defining the state of Nigeria, the character of this state at a critical point in our political development. My take or my guess is that Kanu probably believed that he will be convicted.
Okay.
Reading the handwriting, observing all that is happening, perhaps looking at the body of evidence that was presented against him. I think that as a freedom fighter, at least much as it exists in his head, he needed to collapse everything legal practice, and situate this matter within the historical and political platform. Turned the court into a political platform to further advance his case, not before Justice Omotosho, but before the whole world. Make no mistake about it, all of these things is all over the world from yesterday. You remember that Nelson Mandela, of blessed memory, did a similar thing, perhaps not as rude as now they came across. You remember Chief Obafemi Awolowo during the trial, the treason, did the same thing. And if you listen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in all fairness to him, he's a very intelligent young man. But whether he has a full grasp of the law to be able to navigate the delicate curves of criminal prosecution to escape all that has been laid before him, I doubt that he had it. And the implication is what you had. So what happened? He recused, sacked. Although I've heard one of the lawyers say that he never sacked them, that they withdrew. This is, again, conflicting. And it gives an insight into the kind of, the quality of the advice that he had and how convoluted they probably were in terms of this one is saying this, that one is saying this. And this man has an orientation and a fancy that could be attracted to perhaps the wrong aspect of those potpourri of advice. And the end is what he did. I have hazarded a guess that perhaps he saw everything and said, well, let me further leverage on this platform and tell the world what my struggles are. Whether or not that will help within the context of the legal proceedings is a different kettle of fish. So I come to the point about what actually transpired. Where you disband your legal team and you are now faced with applying your intelligence applicable to any person into a sensitive, critical,
and highly technical
criminal trial, you'll be faced with the dynamics of the legal practice as we know it in a way that also stretch or test your knowledge of the law and procedure. That he failed woefully. How do I mean? One, you had him consistently go back to even the issues that were already resolved, not just by the trial court, by the appellate courts. He held on tenaciously to them. He talks about a non-existing law without averting his mind professionally, and I know he couldn't have because he's not a professional in that area, to understand that the fact that a piece of legislation or an act of the National Assembly, the fact that it's amended does not detract from the fact that that law existed as at the time you were alleged to have committed that offense. I am still in two minds what he meant by that. I have not been convinced by anyone, either in his team or any fellow lawyer, that the charges against him were non-existent. He raises a very strong constitutional issue, and I have referenced that, even if he didn't mention it. That's section 36, section 12. That is the section of the Constitution that prohibits you, as a state, through the prosecution, from bringing a charge against any Nigerian where that offense or where that act does not constitute an offense in any known. When our comrades, Chief Ganifa, blessed memory, Baba Mojala, blessed memory, of course, Femi Falana, SAN, I think it was Maegu, my comrade, Olusegun Maegu. I think they were arraigned. One of the charges was for leaving the country through the Nadako route. There is no way in Nigeria, no criminal legislation, even up to today as it was then, that you have any offense known as traveling through the Nadako route. You bring in section 36 of section 12. That as at the time you charged me for this offense, there is no such behavior, civil or criminal, that is known as maybe this was statements made in passing.
Justice Omotosho, I beg your pardon.
You know, I just landed on one.
Yes.
I wanted to give you.
I know there will be so many of them. But Justice Omotosho allowed what you have said is something of an anomaly in our Nigerian system, where you say whatever it is, whether you sacked them, whether you disbanded them, but you now say you convert them to consultants. And here you are in what I imagine must be a highly technical case, and you know the judge in delivering his judgment actually referred to Nnamdi Kanu's that particular action. In fact, he said it has been recognized, and judicial notice had been taken of the fact that these people are no more your lawyers. So it was really, it's almost as if he sort of roped himself in, because you've just explained that any ordinary person is going to be at a disadvantage.
Please, let's be clear about this. Nnamdi Kanu, like any other Nigerian, has the right, not, has the constitutional right. What the law says is that in the determination of your rights and privileges, you have the right to have lawyers of your choice.
Yes. Yes.
Or you can represent yourself. In fact, there is one, and I'm sure many lawyers will know, there is one litigant in the Enugu Anambra axis. I've met him repeatedly up to Court of Appeal. His name I've just forgotten. But one Dr. Ifeanyi something. He's not a lawyer, but he has taken cases up to Supreme Court. And his cases, as represented by himself, are documented in our law reports. Okay. So that point is clear, that Nnamdi Kanu has a right to represent himself, defend himself in a criminal matter. It is that constitutional right that inures to him as a fundamental right. Don't forget that that is my area. The judge could not but accede to that. In fact, if he didn't accede to that and didn't allow him, that can be a ground of appeal. Okay. And a ground of appeal founded on fair hearing. It's almost like saying you didn't have the jurisdiction to try this matter.
Okay. So, but the judge still said that his court had no difficulty whatsoever in determining that the prosecution had proved the case, beyond any doubt.
When you did not puncture, when you did not make any effort to defeat the case of the president, of the prosecution, when you did not attack the basis of his conclusion and did not query the evidence that has been brought before you, what then is left? What we usually do is during cross-examination, that is trial, when you now subject the evidence presented before the court to the crucibles of cross-examination. That is when I have had sessions in which even senior police officers literally cried in the dock because the folly of the evidence they brought before the court is such that they needn't come to that court at all to make that kind of mistake. But by the time they were coming, they thought everything was good.
Okay, I'll tell you what, we'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation, trying to find out more about the case. Clearly, they're going to go to appeal. I think I've been hearing that, even if not formally, they're going to go to appeal. In the first instance, they'll go to the appeal court, and then, if necessary, it will go further.
All of them are appeal.
All of them
to the appellate
courts. Appeals. So do please stay with us. We'll be right back. And also our viewers who are used to calling in, as soon as we come back, you can begin to call in and let's talk about this.
This week, Nigeria's political space is abuzz, from heated debates on the floor of the National Assembly to high-profile meetings behind closed doors and high-stakes decisions with unexpected twists that impact us all. It's been a week full of headlines and heated moments. Join us on Politics on Sunday, where we cut through the noise and dive deep into the issues that matter most, helping you make a sense of it all. From the corridors of power to the streets where it all plays out, we've got you covered, because politics doesn't stop, and neither do we. Stay informed, stay engaged, and be part of the conversation. Politics on Sunday, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on TVC News.
Every clash of ideas begin the same way. Differences could be a disagreement,
two voices, two views, standing apart,
or an argument.
A battle to win, to prove, or to conquer.
Both are born from differences. One can open the door to respect.
Sound, are you ready?
And the other close it with fire. Two perspectives, but one big issue.
Are you good?
Yes, I'm good to go. So do we argue to fight or disagree to understand?
3, 2, 1, we are live.
This is the big
Okay, welcome back. The separatist leader of the proscribed IPOB has been sentenced to life imprisonment for terrorism charges yesterday at an Abuja High Court. My guest is Malaki Ugumadu, constitutional lawyer, and we're looking at the case. Reverend Dominic, I hear you've been waiting. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yori. Good morning to my brother there. How are you, sir? Longest time.
Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning. Chief Yori, yesterday it's a misfeeling to me because I flew in my office to watch this trial and everything that transpired in the court. I become sick as an Igbo man and become more frustrated as a Nigerian. There's not much to say here because this matter is sensitive. So you don't commit offense that is worse than what happened. And most of us from the Southeast, we discuss this issue with every sense of care, because you don't know what to say and you bring the problem. But I want to say this to Barry Tadia and you and to all Nigerians. When any person comes to a point that nobody caution you nor advise you, that's the point of discussion. That's what I want to say this morning. That we must come in our lives where no matter the provocation, no matter the issue, you must have an advisor who you listen to. You must have somebody who will talk to you. This matter, like the barrister is saying there, if we have sat down very well and listened to experts in courts, the case may be different. That is one side. Like what he was saying, this young man has a case. He's fighting for liberation, freedom. The judge said yesterday, where your freedom ends, another person starts. But what I'm trying to say, Nigeria should look at this matter as a case of what we are going through in Nigeria, insecurity. It's time Mr. President declare, emergency insecurity in Nigeria and use this case as one of them. But what I'm trying to say again and again, any man that comes to a point when you don't have an advisor and you don't listen to anybody, that's a point of discussion. Thank you, Nigerians.
Thank you very much for calling in, Reverend Dominic.
Very valid point.
Yes, that point, because he seemed to be in charge.
Yes.
And you were in charge of the experts.
Even
you were the person deploying the experts as you saw
even the
fit.
trial judge echoed that in frustration.
Yes.
That he has not shown any contrition, including the fact that he talks recklessly to even his own lawyers and security men. That it comes to a point when you need to be sober. But I think the bigger point is that, look, it's a very emotive matter. My surname is Ugumadu. I am from that part of the country. But I've never suffered the limitation of ethnic leanings. No. I have I never suffered it. So here is the point. Nigeria has managed to establish our resentment regarding this kind of violent behavior as charged through this judgment. Having done that, is that the end of what can be done in terms of leveraging on this case to douse tension and also demonstrate that we are sensitive to the wider implication of what has happened? Because let's be frank, there are other persons, suspects from other regions of the country that has, been alleged to have committed twice what Nnamdi Kanu. None of them came close to prosecution, at least in recent times. That you cannot run away from.
Mm-hmm.
And that is feeding a lot of energy and oxygen to the ethno-religious dimension that I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I said there is even the political economy of this matter.
Mm-hmm.
There is the psychology of it. There is the security aspect of this matter. But I think that the president can take advantage of this. There is a whole lot that can happen. If you go to section 174 of the Constitution, it talks about prerogative of mercy.
Indeed.
The Attorney General of the Federation has very wide powers to initiate or withdraw an existing criminal matter. Now, Nigeria has proved the point that as a country, we cannot just continue as if it's a rudderless ship, where there are no consequences for criminal behavior, at least as alleged and now proved. And that where that happens, we have procedures. You know, this thing started from my people in the Niger Delta. Yes, we were able to maintain some calmness, what Chief Gani used to call the stability of starvation. And militants were pardoned. There was a reversal. When that happened, we gained some temporary peace. But some of us want that as a nation, we're a people who consciously, deliberately took up arms against the state. And one of the characteristics of a state is that it has monopoly of violence. So if you're able to do that and sustain that, only to be pardoned, watch it very closely. Other people will be energized by that.
Mazi Okoroafo in Arochukwu.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, our brother.
Thank you.
Now, sir, when we talk about this issue of Nnamdi Kanu, there's three windows. We have appeal court, we have Supreme Court. But what I want to find out is that I think when you say terrorism, this is because of the radio Biafra or sit at home. But Emmanuel Ekpa or Samuel Ekpa that came on board, everybody thank God for Finland people in terms of their judgment. But the thing is this, there is a judgment in the court that they said they have proved with all produced, they have proved, produced everything to make the case to what I agree that Nnamdi Kanu was reacting. Is it extrovert or introvert in the court? Because of when there is a situation that you come as a human being, when your temperament is very, very high, everything is bulk up in your head, the way you stood. There's no human being facing that condition. But the last judgment they gave in Nigeria, the young man about the terrorist attack, what happened to him? You see, they gave him, is it 20 years or 2 days? See how they do this. Why is it Nnamdi Kanu going to be like the president, jail the president? I think the Supreme Court will decide, or the appeal court will decide, because when you give judgment as cases to them, in Nigeria, there was a case we saw that time. A young man misappropriated 50,000 naira to somebody, a customer in the bank. And the judge gave him 20 years. But a Bujan misappropriated over 200 and something million. They give him 3 weeks, or is it 2 months in prison? How do you quantify such judgment? Honestly speaking, the judicial system in Nigeria, they should have the constitutional in terms of not to give judgment based on emotion. But let us face reality. The way he interpreted, he doesn't want lawyers to back him. Right, it's emotion. You have to say, tamper justice, tamper mercy, anything we do. Because tomorrow, nobody knows this. Because what we want in a country is Nigeria. Everybody speak well, balance. Unity of this country is paramount important for everybody, from big and hard, not only one person. Let us work in unity so that Nigeria is a country. We cannot go to anywhere. But I pray by the time we go to Appeal Court or Supreme Court, there will be a change. Good morning, Mazukra for Province. Have a brilliant day.
Oh, thank you very much for calling in, Mazi Okoroafo, because there are two Mazis in this case. So it's important to get the right one right. Mazi Okoroafo, thank you very much. Now, along the lines that he has spoken, you have also touched on it, yes, that there are all sorts of possibilities and options that are not unreasonable. One is, and I heard someone say, I think when he got up in court yesterday, might it have been, I believe it was the gentleman, the honorable member,
yes, who pleaded allocutus for him.
Yes.
I was
exactly. He was feeling that he said that he had expected a political solution.
Yes.
Okay, let me quickly take. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yuri. You are very faint. I don't know if you are hearing me.
We can hear you.
Okay. Good morning to my friend Malaki. I thank Mr. Malaki for his courage to still speak truth to power. Uncle Yuri, what is at stake on this matter is fairness and justice. I've heard a number of, number one, let me commend the DSS. The list of atrocities that the convict was alleged to have committed is very explicit, and I never knew they were so numerous. And they were able to present the case in such a manner that it became even, the defendant became afraid to even defend anything. I think other cases they take to court, this is the way they should be working on it. I have heard a number of comments. Some people are saying it is a political solution. Political solution, and some are watering down the crime. You ask people to go and collect kill 300 people and bring their heads. And they did it and brought only 30 and say, these are the ones who have been able to do. Somebody that did that, you say he merely talked. There was a lawyer that was talking at the video clip you showed that this is the first time he's seeing that merely saying something, you can be convicted for it. Is that merely saying something by going for people's heads? Do you know how many people have died through the atrocities of this man? And now, Uncle Yori, I want to talk to our brothers in the East. They should learn to speak the truth. It's normal to make an appeal for somebody that is in trouble. But you should be able to say, yes, this person was wrong. They don't seem to see anything wrong that this man has done. When you commit treason against your country, you say you are fighting for freedom. Freedom for what? To succeed. Is that not a crime in a country? You want to break the country into two parts? Is that permitted in our constitution? And you don't see that one as anything. Uncle Yori, where I was born, there is an adage that you are preparing medicine for a madman, but have they asked the madman whether he's going to take the medicine? People who are appealing that political solutions should be applied for Nnamdi Kanu, have they seen the conduct he exhibited in court? Does this person look like somebody that if you permit him to go into circulation, he will stop what he's doing? These are the questions.
Okay.
And
all right.
I learned lawmakers, about 30 lawmakers from the Southeast have written to the president. If I were the president, I will ask them these questions. All those people that are speaking on his behalf, Uncle Yori, this guy is not likely to regard anything they say or they tell him. He will do what he wants to do. Let him face the law. This country has to exist. It's not because of one person, then the other people will not exist. We have to have a country before anybody aspires to be a president in our land. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. So, okay, he also picked up a bit on that point about the possibility of a political solution. But when you now look at his conduct, even the judge referenced it. The judge said that he didn't look or conduct himself in a penitent manner at all. So quite frankly, he was making himself something of an enemy against the system, the judicial system. But the judge then said that, however, I won't take countenance of all of that. I will just concern myself with the facts before me. So all that bad behavior, can we still, is that whole matter about a possible political solution? Because many people, even some people of stature, have suggested that that's what they would have expected. And you made the point that the Attorney General has wide powers. He could have withdrawn from prosecution of it. But the conduct of Nnamdi Kanu, it seemed to be, it did seem that, was it thumbing his nose at the law system, the judiciary, the country that in the past he has called a zoo? All of these, none of that was softened in court. So would you be surprised if a political solution was actually now being spoken about?
Well, every option should be on the table.
Okay.
You know, it has become almost existential. If you are able to hold on to your activities leading to a shutdown of a region of a country, even if for hours, let alone every Monday, that has implications. I mean, you just need to have people who live there I traversed all those areas, up to the point where you get to certain military formations, everyone is ordered to come out, broad daylight, and you will put your hands on your head and move. I know the calls are coming up, but I need to quickly make this point. Namely that, look, the political solution is an option.
Okay.
Why that must be exhausted is that there are credible cases of even worse dimension than what Nnamdi Kanu has been accused of.
Okay.
We hear of governors sitting down, not just here, we see governors sitting down with terrorists, negotiating peace in certain states of this country. These are terrorists who have killed, not that they made utterances that are capable of putting their regions in trouble. They have killed on record, and the families know them.
Horrible, how horrible as that is, is it the same as treason?
I said it justifies the political solution.
Yes.
It could even be worse. When you commit those kind and you are known and the records are there and you are sitting there negotiating with the government, then that will justify negotiating and having a political exit for this gentleman.
Okay. Jokun in Ijebu, thank you for holding on. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Uncle Yori has never picked me up there.
We can hear you. Thank you for holding on.
Thank you very much, Uncle Yori. Are you with me?
Yes, we are. We are with you. We're waiting to hear from you.
Good. The gentleman there that I'm with you. I'm talking already. That lawyer there. That lawyer there. That lawyer is a great person. He's a great Nigerian. That lawyer, is a great Nigerian.
Jokun, could I appeal to you to mute the volume of your TV set so that you don't keep hearing echoes of what was said seconds ago?
Yes. Hello?
Have you silenced your television set, please?
I've done that.
Okay, continue now, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Uncle Yori?
Yes, yes, it's good now.
Now, what I am saying is this, Uncle Yori, is that this man there with you, I am telling you, I don't know if it's a son. If it's not, before the end of next week, he must be given son.
He's a patriot, is what you are saying.
Yes. That gentleman there with Uncle Yori is somebody who is down to earth, truthful, and is somebody who has conscience as a lawyer. I love him. That is yes, Umumadu. Now, about this case, Kanu has made mistakes. I'm a Yoruba man, but I don't want to talk as a Yoruba man, but as a Nigerian. And any one of us can make mistakes. And I want to borrow leave from the constitutional lawyer there. This thing we have political aspect of it, economic aspect of it, security and all others. And that is why at this very, very delicate point in our country, the president, the presidency, and the government must be very, very careful. Because our people in the East may not take it easy. Though, where we have people like who will not take it easy, we have people like Lawyer Gumadu, who knows the right thing to do and is saying the right thing. God bless everybody. It is right time now, probably where we have Kanu, maybe it can show Ramos. Because all that finished this case for him is no good advice. No good advice. The day he disbanded his lawyers, the whole show started. And it's terrible. So terrible. You see, they're hinging it on the fact that there's some Boko Haram there, this and that, they have been doing this, and they never prosecute them. You cannot hinge that on this case. God bless Nigeria. God bless Uncle Yori, and God bless this great man there with you.
Thank you very much.
You are fantastic.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jokun Inijebode, for calling in. Appreciate your call. Well, there you go. The guy handed you your flowers straight away.
And I take it. But that was with humility.
So, really, there's so much to be said, but I think we have really said that which needs to be said about this case. But in terms of recording of it, it's not a small case, and it's going to go down. Now, one quick point. It's a small point. Treason. Somebody was saying, not as a result of any action of his hand, but by the words of his mouth. Can your utterances not be treasonable?
There's also a very potent and important aspect of crimes generally. Most often you hear about stealing. Preceding it is conspiracy to steal.
Okay.
You hear about murder, conspiracy to commit. So here is the point. When you take up arms, or when you cause any form of activity that has a capacity to overwhelm the state, that amounts to treason. And where that is established against you, there is no escape route.
Oh dear.
So we have made the big point that, look, the state, that is the Nigerian state, has shown resentment regarding this kind of behavior. That resentment has earned an accused person the verdict of guilt, and he has been sentenced. Moving forward, giving other angles to this matter, including the emotive angles to it, we can seek an exit.
Okay. Okay. I want to thank you very much, Malaki Ugumadu, constitutional lawyer. Really appreciate your fitting us into your schedule this morning. And that's our program. Do please join us on Monday for a fresh edition of the program. I am Iyori Folarin. Do have a great weekend.
Following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
It's Black Friday, the biggest shopping celebration of the year. And you know what that means. It's time for massive deals, unbeatable prices, and jaw-dropping discounts. Only on ShopX TV. Introducing the Cook X 10-in-1 Air Fryer Oven, a powerful 12-liter oven that provides 75% more cooking space than traditional air fryers. Stay